Welcome to the
Hi,
Lewis and Rozh Hockey Podcast. I'm Lewis,
and I'm Rozh.
and today is episode 12. We've made it
Wow.
past the episode 10 mark. I believe episode 10 was with Mark.
You know what they say? The first 10 episodes are the hardest,
Is
and
that
then the
what they
next.
say?
No, I have no idea what they say.
It's the first time in a while we've had a podcast without a guest on.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know you hated me that much, but I see how it is now.
Listen, man, if I'm just trying to interview replacements.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah,
I know you and Cushman. I know you're tight. I know I'm gone soon.
we are pretty tight, you know. We're I have no idea. That guy barely messages me. I was gonna try and make a funny joke, but that guy's just there. He replies to my messages sometimes.
Someone says, "Wow."
There hasn't we're in a drought of hockey news at the moment. There was quite a bit going on towards the end of the week last week. Apart from that, because the finals games are so spread out for some fucking reason, we're sort of lacking in content that we can produce. There is a bit.
Hey, this stuff.
We've got we can talk about Game 3 and Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals between the Florida Panthers and the Vegas Golden Knights. Florida winning Game 3 and then losing Game 4 pretty badly. Actually, I say
Yeah,
that. I think they lost by 2 goals, 1 goal.
they lost game 3. They won game 3 by 1. They lost game 4 by 1. Pretty
That
close.
scramble towards the end of Game 4 was tough to watch as a Panthers fan, I can imagine, because it so almost was in, but it wasn't.
I know the score's been kind of close, but the game did not feel close one
It
bit.
didn't feel close at all. It's because they got slaughtered. They managed to bring it back a little bit and then just collapsed in the third. It, that team,
Yeah,
at the best of times, really shouldn't be in the playoffs, and they've somehow made it to the finals, and they're just being exposed for the shit-ass team that they are. That's not libel, it's true.
I don't think that's that. I mean, look, you don't win. I think they won like 7 straight OTs or something. They haven't lost in overtime in the playoffs. You don't
Yeah,
do that without always having something there.
but
So I
equally,
mean,
half of their wins have come in overtime.
yeah, but it's still. Well, I mean, look at Calgary. Calgary have a bunch of problems with how many overtime losses they had. Right?
17.
You know, not to bring it back to the Leafs, but look, yeah, you need that kind of killer instinct, and that's what Kachuk and the Panthers kind of have when it's crunch time, when it's in OT, they have it.
When it's the end of the game. It'd be great if they would manage to do it throughout the game.
Yeah, you could say that too.
I just think that
Um,
this series is. I don't think that there's any chance of the Panthers winning this anymore.
well,
If they
Bobrovsky
tied it
left
up,
it. Yeah,
then I'd be more leaning towards them being able to pull it back. But the state that they're in at the moment, it doesn't seem feasible.
yeah. I mean, Bobrovsky's kind of slipped there as well. That first goal in Game 4, pretty
Second
bad.
goal in Game 4.
Yeah, but then where was the Panthers defense on that one?
You could say that for almost every single play. They are just. You know what's the worst part of this series though?
Go on.
Wes McCauley. Jesus Christ, that guy needs to be fired. What a seriously, there is not a single call he makes on the ice that makes any sense.
Yeah, was it? I think there was only one penalty in Game 4 for Vegas. I think there was. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure in one of these games there was like maybe one power play or something, like throughout the first 2 periods.
How does that guy have a job?
I bet any refs have jobs.
Seriously, yeah, but he's the worst one of them all.
Yeah, but I mean, we always say it gets worse every year, and maybe it does.
Imagine if it doesn't change. Imagine how it's going to be in 2, 3 years. It's just going to be all-out warfare on the ice because the refs can't control anything. It's ridiculous. Hire someone who can do their job.
That's not how the the owners want it, though. You know, that's not how Batman wants it. Batman is happy with it being, a tied penalties for piracy. and all that. That's how, since the rule change.
Fuck parity, man. All I want is for the games to be called how they should be called, and not have Wes Macaulay's goofy clown ass ruining the integrity of my hockey games.
Wait, that since the rule change, that's how the rest have been told to call it. Um, and yeah, no, it's not great. I mean, look at the end of Game 4; it was an absolute disaster. It, um, Monto had a dirty hit on McNabb. I think it was Sam Bennett, sleuth at Aiden Hill as well. I don't know if you saw
Yeah,
that
like
clip.
Kachuk was trying to beat Aiden Hill up, and then Aiden Hill was trying to beat
Yeah,
Kachuk up. He's a like, and it's all because Wes Macaulay can't control the game. It's unacceptable. Like, if a player was doing this and a player was affecting the game this badly, we would be criticizing them a whole lot more, and he'd be fined and disciplined by the NHL. But because he wears a fucking funny little zebra jersey, he's given permission to run rampant through the leagues and the games and just be allowed to do whatever the fuck he wants. It's a ridiculous standard that they're being held to.
it's
It's
like
no
people say
standard
it's
they're being
not
held
it's
to.
not a league. It's not a
It's not a
league.
league.
Yeah,
Oh man, I would be mad if I'm a Panthers fan. I would be mad if I was a Vegas fan. Like,
yeah, but to Batman, that means Wes McCauley was doing his job because both sides are mad.
well, there is that argument, isn't there?
It's not a great one.
No. Oh my god. Like, uh,
you know,
just
just because you
sigh.
just because you did your job so awfully.
If you turned up to work, say you work in an office and you've been tasked to do
Yeah.
an Excel spreadsheet, whatever it's supposed to
Hmm.
do, and you turn up and you don't do any work apart from you change two cells.
Yeah.
Um, like you'd be fired, and that's what he does.
Yeah, yeah, but Lewis, now all your colleagues and your boss are angry.
I I I have no words anymore. Like it's gotten to a point now where the situation is just so horrendously bad. There's no room for criticism because. Oh no, sorry. Let me rephrase. There's so much room for criticism. It's hard to see where to stop. It's like a massive expanse. You can't see where the borders are anymore. You can't see if you're overstepping the line because the line is so faded and blurry because they're so fucking awful at their jobs. Like, oh man, how
I
is
mean,
he
we
the
can.
best of the best?
Well, he's not. He's just the one that NHL likes to use because when there's fighting, he goes 2 minutes for fighting, and then they put it on everywhere. That's why. But the thing, like Wes McCauley, you could say is the one ref most people know, right? Like if you were gonna know
Yeah.
any ref's name, it'd be his. And I think that is a problem. Like we shouldn't have to know who this guy is.
Do you know any ref in any other league?
I know Chris Kavanagh and Mike Beaton because again they both make the games about them.
There's the
That's
guy
what football.
in baseball who was just like apparently genuinely horrendous at his job, and everyone knows his name. I can't remember his name, but people who follow baseball will know who I'm talking about. But apart from that, can you name any other referee? Like I named Steve Kazari, but only because he
I
was
don't know who
refing
that
with Wes
is.
McCauley. He was the guy who was refing with Wes McCauley last night or the night before.
I see.
Um,
No, I think that's a fair point. Like you only know a ref's name when they're just awful.
we don't talk about the refs that do a good job. Like refs are supposed to, like genuinely, refs are supposed to be invisible. They're
Yeah,
not supposed to impact the game to the point where everyone's looking at them. They're supposed to make the calls that they see because that's their job. But when you're directly making the game about yourself because you have some sort of egotistical need to have the spotlight despite you not being a star, you're a failed hockey player. That's what you are.
it's a bit cold.
I'm sorry, I'm at the end of my rope here. It
You know
it's
what? What if he grew up being a young kid and his idols were always the refs, then he'd wear his little ref jersey into the stands
well then
and
he
he'd always
knows
be
he should be
cheering
held
with
to a
people.
higher standard.
But Lewis, he needs the spotlight. He needs the attention.
At some point you got to go beyond the point of being, these people are people who are just doing the best at their jobs. He's not doing the best at his job. He's not in.
No.
This is worthy of criticism. It's worthy of this like harsh criticism that I'm giving out in like droves. It is inexcusable that he still has a job.
Yeah. Maybe he won't next year, but that's a lie. He's gonna keep his job.
Yeah, he's
Let's
gonna
be
keep his
honest.
job. It's man.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know how much you can really blame this on Wes, but the game got completely out of hand again when fans started throwing stuff on the ice at the end of game 4.
Yeah, like that really pisses me off as well.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
throwing stuff on like the rats are funny, the flamingos are funny, but throwing actual trash, actual rubbish, it's not on, man. You wouldn't do that in
no.
actually they probably would do it in public. They're from Florida.
Ooh,
I know,
they,
shots fired.
they don't. I wouldn't want to make all of Florida an enemy.
What are they gonna do? Like,
You, those people are crazy, Lewis.
yeah, they'll just get eaten by alligators or something. Or
Uh,
or you wanna know something that will really scare Floridians, Roche?
go on.
The word abortion. I got another one
No.
for you, Roche.
Go on.
Gun control. Ooh.
Lewis, trans rights.
No, you're scaring me.
I'm scaring you now. Oh god.
Fucking man.
It's just a flag, Lewis. It's just a flag.
I am not trans. I believe in trans rights. 100%. I am an ally.
That's why that's what he says in public. Wait till you see his private
Can you
messages.
not slander me on the internet? Huh?
Hey man,
If this gets
I
released,
gotta give
people don't
Florida
take this
some wiggle room.
seriously.
Gotta give Florida some wiggle room.
What do you mean, give Florida some wiggle room? By targeting me as some sort
Yes.
of bigot? It's not true. These are lies.
Oh, I want to see your birth certificate. I bet it says Florida. I bet it says Orlando.
It does not. It says England, I believe. I've seen my birth certificate recently. I have it saved on my computer.
I don't think I've ever seen mine.
My friend,
It's,
Matt is
yeah.
trying to get a passport,
Yeah.
and he needs his birth certificate, but his parents don't know where his birth certificate is, so he can't get a passport. He's really unhappy about it.
Well, good luck to Matt, I guess. That doesn't sound like a Roche problem.
I do
So
wish
I'm
good
not
luck
gonna
to
think
Matt.
about it.
It's rather funny. I laugh pretty hard. Hi Matt, if you're listening. Hope your passport situation is going well.
Is he gonna be listening?
Probably not.
Matt, I hate you.
Wow. Right, let's move on to some different hockey topics. Towards the end of last week, we got some big trades by the Columbus Blue Jackets. There was a 3-team trade involving Philadelphia, Columbus, and the LA Kings, and then another trade involving New Jersey and Columbus. Moving Ivan Provorov to the Blue Jackets, as well as Damon Severson. Yaro
I know people.
Kekalainen stacking up that blue line with
Is he really
just
stacking?
subpar players.
Provorov. Sure, maybe a couple of years ago that potential was there, but now I don't think so. Stevenson, sure, but again, he had less responsibility in New Jersey. I think at least for the first couple of years, maybe he'll live up to that a little bit, but then, you know, body starts to get on you, responsibility starts to get on you. I don't think that contract's going to age well.
I don't think it's going to age well at all. Like,
I mean, Provorov, you got that contract retained for 2 years,
well, it's
but
retained.
30%.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But still, for 4.7, no, thank you.
Even like for a homophobic bigot, that's rough. That is really rough. That guy gets paid
Yeah,
almost $7 million for just being mid.
and then I mean, you bring in Provorov, and then now you're also probably going to get Babcock as the head coach.
No, he is the head coach.
You said that's happened now.
It's been confirmed. Yeah,
I'm not sure about that locker room.
that is gonna be really rough. I like that. Mike Babcock and Ivan Provorov with I mean, it's Dawson Mercer, Damon Severson. He is 28 years old, signed for another 8 years. He's gonna be 36 when the deal is done. Um, he has played a lot more games than I thought he had. He is a negative 120.
Sorry, you say, wow, what?
Damn. Why would you make that trade?
I mean,
I
Kekalainen is cooking something.
don't
Don't know
think he's
what.
cooking anything.
I mean,
What
you can
the fuck
strengthen
is
it.
he doing?
I'm not sure. Like, I don't like this Columbus team. I know people are saying like maybe they'll be maybe they'll actually make a push here. I don't like it. I actually hate this team.
I,
Like,
it's not good.
look, Gaudreau just doesn't have Gaudreau's not a player you want in the playoffs. Okay, he doesn't have it. He's like Mana. Okay,
I think that he has the potential to do good things. I think the deal is horrible, considering that he is almost 30 and is signed for like another 7 years. I think their forward core is really just not great. They have a lot of good prospects, but they're just prospects. They're just they what they have? They have a team of guys, just guys.
right. So look at Gaudreau that had a relative to last year pretty awful season.
He was on the Blue Jackets.
Yeah, but he goes from 115 points to 74.
To be fair, that's not that bad considering he was on the Blue Jackets. But he went from a plus 64 to a negative 33.
I mean, still that's like a 45-point drop off there.
Man, and that defense, like even with Severson and Provorov, and then you are getting back Zach Werenski, who I think is very underrated. I
Mm-hmm.
actually think that deal's really good for what he brings. Like Elvis Merzlikins for another 4 years at 5.4. Daniil Tarasov for another 2 years at 1.05. And the rest of their defense is just like, who the fuck is Tim Burney?
Yeah, that you know what that Merzlikins deal isn't looking great right now.
What was his save percentage last season?
It was in 0.87,
Oh
0.876.
my god, that's bad.
Going last season 907, then 916, then 924. So it's been going down every year. Um, and you can argue maybe that's because the defense in front of him is awful, but an 876 across 30 games. I mean, I don't think you can blame all of that on the defense there. So a
What?
cap hit. He's on a cap hit of 5.4. That's a pretty
What
awful
is
contract.
Kekalainen cooking? Like,
Modified no trade too.
he, like, I'm so confused. I thought, like, I'll be honest. I'll be honest to the viewers at home. Didn't do a lot of research into the Columbus team before
It's
this
Columbus.
before this
It's
episode.
Columbus. Let's be a little honest. It's Columbus.
It's fucking Columbus. So I saw Davis like Severson and Provorov. I'm like, you know what? It might help a bit, but looking at this team, unless they sign some decent free agents, they're going to be another
I mean, they
fucking
have
lottery contender.
they have a couple of pieces. I mean, Texier, from what I've seen before, he had to disappear for a bit. He's been good.
So Texier wasn't playing last season for personal reasons, I believe.
Hmm.
He played in uh, the Swiss league for a year, but that was for I believe it was family reasons that he didn't play last year. But he's going to be back with the team this year. He's a really he has a lot of upside. I think. When you look at the rest of the team outside of the top two, which is Line and Goodrow, you've got Jack Roslovic, who's just again pretty mid. Boone Jenner, who is a guy. Sean Corrali, who is also
He
a
was
guy.
he was a fourth liner in Boston, right?
Yeah.
Why does he have a modified no? Why does he, of all people, have a modified no trade?
And then Eric Robinson, who I
Is that even? That's just.
honestly
Is that
didn't
even a
even
real
know.
person?
I didn't even know he existed.
He has been in the league since seven. Okay, he, if we're if we're
Is he like
like
an
saying
AHL
proper
graduate?
starts, probably
Or is he an NCAA graduate?
he
Come
is.
on, man.
He came out of Princeton. He's been in the league about 5 years though, like properly.
So then you
And
got
I've never heard of this kid, but
Alexandre
he,
Texier. Oh man.
yeah, it's not great there.
If you look at the rest of their forward core as well, you've got Ken Johnson, who I believe is a former first round pick.
I mean,
Uh,
I think I'm excited for Ken. People were big on him, so
again, like very young, lot of upside. Kirill Marchenko, who I believe his first 16 points in the NHL were just goals,
that's
which he's just fucking. That guy is gonna be. That guy's like a really electric player. I'm excited to see what he can do. Cole Sillinger, who again a lot of upside, really young. Emil Bemstrom, who's a guy. Liam Foodie, who's a guy.
you know what
Matthew
Liam Feudy.
Olivier, who's a guy, and Lane Peterson, who was claimed from Vancouver.
You know Liam Feudy. He only showed up for that Leaf series, right? He made every time Feudy. It's so every time Feudy was on the ice for the Leaf series, I was terrified, and
Yeah.
then after that, he just disappeared. I thought this kid would have been special after that series, but no. Career high of 14 points.
This is. And
And
then
you know what?
their
He only had two
defense.
points. He only had 2 points in those playoffs,
Yeah,
which is
both of them came
crazy.
against the Leafs.
I thought he did much better. But he looked really good at least.
And then you look at their defense, you've got Zach Werenski on IR. Okay, really, really good defenseman. And then Damon Severson, interesting. Ivan Provorov, interesting. Eric Goodbranson, who really shouldn't be signed to that much. Andrew Peake, who's a guy. Adam Boakfist, who is pretty young, got a lot of upside from what I've heard. Nick Blankenberg, who's a guy. And then two guys I've genuinely never heard of. Actually, that's not true. Gavin Bayreuther, I remember because he got claimed by Seattle in the expansion draft from Columbus, and then he then went and signed with Columbus.
Yeah, no, this.
Imagine wanting to go back to Ohio.
Hey, it's nice. It's quiet, but this team is full of holes. Like,
They're
I
gonna have to
mean,
like really try and target some players
dude,
in
this
free
isn't even like.
agency.
The
But
problem is,
then,
this
but
is
you've
like
got
you have.
the thing of Babcock there, and no players were going to want to come and play for Babcock.
I mean, I
What the fuck is
pro.
he doing?
Hey, Provorov said he didn't have a problem with it.
Well, yeah, because like both of them are like insane
Well,
in
I
the
mean,
head.
yeah, you can't say Babcock's not at home, but you can't say that.
I don't.
But
Well, not outed anyway.
like this is the problem with this team is like it's bad in a bad way. Like you have bad teams. You know what I'm trying to say? Like you can have
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
teams, and like they're gonna, they have like some kind of direction there. Like with the Provorov and Severson moves, I think it shows that like they're not trying to tank. Like, and if like those are your ideas of like, if you think those two are like play like a playoff pair, if you think that Severson and Provorov are gonna get you to a cup or like a deep playoff run, you're sorely mistaken, especially with this forward core.
Man, this is going to be a really interesting off-season for Columbus because if they manage to do fuck all, you got. I think maybe Keckliner's run his course.
He has been there for a while.
Like these are the sort of moves that you make if you're desperate.
Like being Jen as your first line center is not great.
Man, well, you know, fucking hell, man. That's dreadful,
Like I know I mean, they have Jake Bean. He was something in Carolina. I don't know what he is now.
bro. You can't like you can't make all of these like cons and then be your pros list being Jake Bean.
No, but hey, I'm just we can't bash on them the whole time, but this isn't a good team. It's not a playoff team.
It's not a playoff team.
That good draw contract, if he's playing the way he is now, awful. Line, well, how did Line do this year? Line in 22 goals?
Line would be a really interesting trade asset.
I mean, he was good. I mean, he's been injured, but point per game last year, 52 and 55 this year. But for a guy like who's meant to be scoring, a guy who had 44 goals, right, in his sophomore season. Sorry, in his to go to 22 now, like I feel like either you're not using him properly, right, or he just doesn't have. Like people were saying, this guy was going to be the next Ovechkin.
I know he's fallen off. I feel like he's still young. He still has quite a bit of upside. I'd like to see him on a
Well,
contending
he's still
team.
he's still a
Like,
point per game player, but
I'd love to see him on a team that has a center.
yeah, no, I don't think Line can be the guy for whatever team he's on, but at least not anymore, maybe.
And that cap is a bit much as well. Like 8.7 is a hefty contract. But could you
No,
imagine him on like an up and coming team? Someone like the Ducks. I know I keep going back to the Ducks. Like someone like the Ducks, the Sabres. God, could you imagine Line on the Sabres?
oh, that would be good.
Even the Habs. Although I don't think they can afford him under their cap.
I don't know if Line would do well with that.
Maybe not. But like
To me,
on a
yeah.
contending team with actual players instead of just guys they put into a random name generator.
Edmonton.
That's really funny, Rosh. Ha 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 ha. No.
No, I'm just saying, like maybe
They
if you get
gave
Line
Evander
back to
Kane a 5x5. They can't afford anyone.
fair enough.
They gave
I
Darnell
mean,
Nurse $9 million.
hey, if they'll give Darwin on Nurse 9, maybe they'll give you a contract.
I mean, I'm sure I can just go ask Ken Holland, and he'll say, "Yeah, fuck it, why not?" We'll be playing
Yeah,
first 5 minutes with McDavid.
it's just I don't see how people can even think this is close to a playoff team.
I don't. It is worth pointing out as well, bit of hockey trivia, that the Damon Severson trade was a sign and trade. He got the contracts before he got traded. But even
See,
so,
and they gave up
like,
a third for him, but my question is like, why the sign and trade? Why not just trade and then sign him? Or did they want some kind of?
I think Damon Severson wanted the contract guaranteed because he knew he
I
was going to be
see.
traded. Or because he knew he wasn't going to be with the team. Fitzgerald just like signed the contract.
Oh, I see. Oh wait, hang on. Oh yeah. So
But like, man, would you rather have Damon Severson or Mackenzie Weegar? Neither of them, preferably. But if you had to
what's
choose,
Uyghur's cap hit?
same as Severson, same term as well.
Uh, I'd probably take Uyghur because I think he's done more.
I'd probably take Weegar too.
I feel like Uyghur at least knows what it is. Like I feel Uyghur in Calgary, I feel like he had a lot of expectations too. Severson, I don't think he's really ever had that.
Severson's just a guy.
He, dude, he wasn't the guy in New Jersey. Okay, he had Dougie Hamilton on his blue line. He had Siegenthaler was really good. Ryan Graves, and a
McLeod.
bunch of those guys. Right,
I think McLeod was
exactly.
playing defense.
Like you're surrounded by guys who can play there,
And now
and
you're
then
going
if
to
it comes
Columbus.
right, and it's like, okay, now you have Provorov. I mean, you're still not the guy on the blue line. That's Werenski, right? But like, if he's gonna be hurt half the time, then it's gonna be you.
To be
Because
fair, his
Provorov
injury
is
this
gonna
season
start.
was a really unfortunate break for him. He was playing exceptionally well, and then he got I believe he tore his labrum. It was
I mean, he's just been a bit unlucky recently.
it has been pretty
63,
unlucky.
like 13 games this season, 60 years last year, 35, 63. It's
Like
not.
when the guy's playing, he's really good, but he keeps getting injured. But it's not like recurring injuries that are like minor injuries that keep getting worse. They're like really bad injuries that just keep randomly happening to him. I don't think it's like I don't think he's injury prone. I just think he's unlucky.
This is Ryan
Or
Murray
in
2.0.
Columbus.
This is Ryan Murray again.
Okay, sure, Roche.
Hey, I'm telling you, Ryan Murray, he could have been something special.
Um, sure.
He's got a cup and you don't. I'm just saying.
Neither you don't have a cup either.
You don't know that.
I
What
don't.
do you think I'm drinking?
Who's
What
your
do you
winner
think I'm
with?
drinking out of right now?
Um, a sippy cup.
Still a cup.
Okay. Some rumours that I would like to delve into a little bit. There have been lots of speculation regarding Carter Hart and Connor Hellebuck because it was revealed that Connor Hellebuck said he's not re-signing with Winnipeg next season. He's on the last year
Which
of his deal.
I think that's completely fair. He's
It's Winnipeg.
carried that team. Well, let's not slate the town any like we have Columbus, but look, he's carried those teams, right?
Yeah,
He like
he won the
I think they
Vezina
only
with them.
like he dragged them to the playoffs one time, maybe even more.
He dragged them to the playoffs this year.
Exactly. So I think it's fair. I mean, we've seen how bad that locker room is. I think it's time to. I think it's time for him to move on.
I think it's time
Because
for that
again,
team to rebuild. I don't think they're going to, but if they do,
no,
they need
they're going
like
to look.
moving Hellebuck to a contending team. Get you a king's ransom for him.
Well, I think while they while they still have Wheeler, Shifley, Ehlers, Kyle Connor, I don't think you can rebuild. I think you need to retool. But how they do that, we'll have to
The thing
see.
is, though, they've been trying to retool for quite a few years now since their run to the Western Conference Final in 2017, 2018. They still haven't really managed to like do anything. I think you've got to at some point just go. You know, we've tried to retool before. It hasn't really worked. Let's just go for a rebuild.
I don't. Fair enough. I mean,
You can
thing
only
is
do
though, if
so
you want,
much, right? Like,
I just feel like Winnipeg, they did lose their entire right side after that 17-18 season. I feel like they just have enough pieces, though. You know, like that team should be doing better than it is.
yeah, but they're not. So, and they
Yeah,
haven't been
but
for a good number of years now. It's the same with the Leafs and the idea that they should like retool. They should, but they're not going to. And it doesn't matter like what pieces you have. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You can look at like objectively at the Leafs and go, they have Mitch Marner, William Nylander, Austin Matthews, and John Tavares. That team should be good, but they're not. You can look at Shifley and Wheeler and Connor and the other players on that team and go, they
yeah,
should be good. They're not. Switch it
yeah.
up, man.
But that doesn't mean you have to burn down the entire farm.
Wrong. Burn it down. Burn it down. Just,
Burn it
just,
down.
just burn it. Like it's gone on long enough. Move the team. Take it back to Atlanta.
Whoa, you
This
gotta
has been
chill
a,
out.
this has just been a 15-year social experiment to see if a team could be like in Winnipeg.
And have you seen the whiteouts? The team absolutely can be.
Yeah, that's true. I'd like to see Connor Hellebuck in Toronto. I'd love to see Carter Hart somewhere else other than Philadelphia. But
How about one for one?
Hart for Hellebuck, that would be a
No,
dreadful trade.
you'd have to. Philly would have to throw in a lot of stuff,
They don't
but
have a lot of stuff either.
and that'd be awful. Like
You
that's
know,
not a
the
trade
the
Philly
number
makes.
one trade chip on the table right now is Travis Konechny.
I don't mind Konechny.
He's okay, but he shouldn't be your blue chip. He should be like just an add-in.
I don't. Konechny's pretty good. I
He's
think you're
okay.
sleeping on.
I think
He's not okay. He's good.
I think he's the only guy that Philadelphia has. So of course he's gonna
Well,
be
you know
his numbers are gonna be inflated.
they had JVR.
And they had Claude Giroux.
Bring him home.
Like on most teams, Travis Konechny is not going to be your number one center. He's going to be
And when
two
Philly
or
was
three.
good, he should be. He's a second line center. He's a
I think
decent second
that's
liner.
his ceiling though. But when you're playing on the
Yeah,
first
no, it's
line,
not a
when
first line.
you're like your numbers are going to be inflated, and everyone's looking at these numbers and going, "Oh well, he did really well in Philadelphia. He's their only guy." Of course, his numbers are going to be inflated. If you put fucking Dennis Malgin on the top line of any team, his numbers are going to be inflated. That doesn't make him a good player.
I mean, didn't he play first line for the Leafs a little bit?
I don't know, quite possibly, but again, that doesn't make his number. Like, that doesn't improve his status. It shouldn't improve his status. You put any player on the top line of any team when they get more minutes, they're gonna produce more because if you play more, you're gonna produce more. That doesn't
Not
make you a better
necessarily. I
player
mean,
because the role that you're gonna play on the teams that you're gonna be traded to is not gonna be that same role.
yeah, but I just say, look, not every you can't. Look, I can be on the. You could be on the ice for like a bajillion minutes, right? You put a bad player on the ice, they're gonna score more than you. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. But if that better player doesn't exist,
Anyways,
right.
and Konecny was
Say I score a
Konecny
rate
was
of.
playing. Konecny was on the second line anyways.
He wasn't. He was on the first line.
No, the Daily Faceoff has the first line as probably or I mean, it has Couturier and Cam Atkinson on IR. It has the first line as Araby, Hayes, Owen Tippett. The second line is Lawton, Couturier, Konecny.
Oh,
Right.
gee,
So
like that team sucks.
look, man, I I like Konecny. I think he's scrappy. Okay, he had 30 goals this year.
Listen, I'm not saying he's not a bad player. I'm just saying he's being. I think he's being a tad overrated.
Yeah, you can. Okay, fine. You can say his points have been inflated, but this is a bad Philly team, right?
I think that people need to just like calm down a bit. You know, this guy's just
Dude,
okay. He's an okay player.
fine. Look, who is the first line for who? Give me a first line player on Chicago with us who isn't Taves. Okay.
Oh God. What the fuck? um,
Tyler Johnson. Okay. Tyler Johnson.
he was on the
How,
first line.
how many
Jesus.
how many points do you think Tyler Johnson had on
Like
the first line?
on the first line,
Yeah,
40.
32.
Fuck.
Okay. On the second line, you know how many goals Konechny had?
30.
31. 31.
Okay, I see your point.
It doesn't matter how much time you play, it matters about the play. You put like Devonte Smith Pelly on the first line, he's not gonna do amazing. He's not gonna be like Backstrom, you know.
Yeah.
It's about the play. It's about the player. Like sure, like extra minutes helps. Like we saw that with Carlson, Smith, Marsha, so right, Chandler Stevenson,
Yeah.
but it's not always gonna happen. Like Nick Ritchie, Johnsson, Kapanen, um, Malkin in
Verano.
Toronto, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, I actually hate that Ryan trade. They should have kept him. But um, you see what I mean? Like Konechny's a good player, and he's like other than Couturier, he is all that Philly had. I would not trade him for Howard though. I would not do a hard Konechny for Howard trade. I wouldn't. If I am Philly, I'm not going anywhere near Howard. I am tanking.
They're not going to. Actually, they might do because Chuck Fletcher's not in charge anymore. The
And I'm
fact that that guy is on some sort of panel talking about his experiences as a GM as like some sort of expert is just inexcusable. Like, come on, guys. This is, I feel like I'm viewing. I feel like everyone in Canada views the hockey world with some sort of filter over their eyes. Chuck Fletcher's not a good GM. He's not.
it's a boys' club.
This isn't a joke anymore. That guy
It's a boys'
sucks.
club. It's a boys' club, Lewis. Okay? Doesn't matter if he sucks.
When
He's
will it
still
end,
gonna get a
Rozh?
shot.
When will it end?
It'll end when they will die. Okay, look, it's gonna stay the same for a long time. You know, like you said, you always see the same couple guys get hired every year. You know, you have the coach carousel. You know, well, unless you're Pierre Maguire, then you're an absolute joke. But you see what I mean. Doesn't matter. Once you're in, you're in.
Man, I need to get in.
Look, maybe he comes on, he has some awful takes. Maybe the analysts disagree.
I'm
And who knows?
convinced they're going to ask him about the first overall pick, and he's going, you know what? I trade that. And I go, Chuck, you trade the first overall pick? Yeah. You know, there's a lot of good players around the league that'd be worth that first overall pick. You know, players like Ivan Provorov and Caden Gooley in Montreal. Mark Edward Vlasic is some guy I would target if I had that first overall pick.
Back in the day,
Yeah,
2016,
we're not back in the day though. We're present, and he would.
2016, last it.
I'm seeing right now, if Chuck Fletcher was GM of the Chicago Blackhawks and he had that first overall pick, you already know he's trading at 1-for-1 Mark Edward Vlasic.
You know what team traded the second overall pick?
Which team traded for second overall pick?
The Leafs in 2010. Tyler Seguin.
Damn.
So you see what? Look, I'm just saying we've done it before.
And look how it ended up. Not good.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like GMs can trade, can make these trades, and they'll still have jobs.
Well, he doesn't anymore.
No, but like he's gonna get a job somewhere, and it's.
Oh god, I hope not.
Like, I know as much as we like to say, it's not a one-man show,
Who's next up on the GM list to be fired?
Next up on the GM list,
It's got to be Columbus.
yeah, Kekalainen is probably outstayed his welcome there. I think he's been there for a long time too.
If you look in the Metro, Washington, Boston, New York Islanders, maybe.
You know, as good as Lamoriello has been, I can't stand him.
I can't
cannot
stand him
stand
anymore.
anymore. I can't stand the whole no bids, you can only wear low jersey numbers, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It does not sit right with me one bit.
Tom
You know,
Facility,
the Canucks,
jersey.
getting the Canucks, surely.
Oh god, Fletcher to the Canucks would be so fucking funny.
It's probably gonna happen because
That would be hilarious.
look, he's probably just gonna roll over and let Aquilini do whatever he wants. So
I mean, that's what Alvin and Montgomery, Rutherford are doing at the moment.
yeah, but any slight hint of resistance, any break to the Aquilini's ego, and he's gone. The Red Wings maybe for saying the Isa plan hasn't worked, but
Oh, that would be a
they seem.
terrible thing to do. That would be awful. I want it to happen.
I mean, other than that,
Anaheim.
no, Anaheim has something cooking. I wouldn't want that.
They've been cooking for a while now. It hasn't produced anything.
Hey, you gotta be patient.
They've been in the kitchen for too long and they have nothing to show for it.
Are you saying too many cooks there?
No, I'm saying they're trying to cook pizza and they've ended up with fucking
A calzone.
let me think of something that's opposite the pizza. A soup.
Calzone. A soup.
They tried to
Whether
cook
they-
pizza, ended up with soup, like a wet, watery soup.
How do you manage to melt a pizza into a soup?
I don't know, but that's what they're doing.
I see. I see.
I'm not saying it's a good soup. I'm not saying it's a good pizza, but what they're trying to make is just not working.
I don't know. I think you give the Ducks a little more time.
And you got some ingredients in the pizza that can help make the soup better. You know, the tomatoes, the herbs, sometimes a bit of cheese goes really well. And those ingredients come in the form of Zegras, McTavish, and Terry and Drysdale. But at the end of the day, it's still shit soup.
I mean, what do? If you're gonna start all over again, I don't think that's feasible for the Ducks.
No, it's not. That team needs to actually do something.
Well, they have they have their pieces. Okay,
They're still terrible.
let them get more. I think you give the Ducks a little more time. Okay.
How much more time do they need?
Oh.
They've had Zegras for 3 years now.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Maybe you see that maybe this year to take it out of the oven.
Why were they putting soup in the oven in the first place, Rozh?
To get that nice burnt layer on top.
We use so many cooking analogies.
Yeah. No, I'm looking at the Ducks now. It's not amazing, especially with. I mean, if you look how. I mean, you like how quick the Leafs kind of turned it around once they started drafting Nylander, Matthews, Mana. I mean, I was hoping I'd maybe see that with the Ducks a little bit.
But they don't really have that like high caliber of players as well. Like their young players are pretty decent, but they're not that star level. If you look at the other rebuilding teams that are sort of rebuilding around the same time as Anaheim, they've now drafted their star players. Buffalo have got Owen Power and Matthew Savoy, who I love.
Don't forget Darlene.
Darlene, although he was drafted a bit before the rebuild, but they've got a load of picks back from the Eichel trade and all that stuff. You look at Montreal, they've got Suzuki and Caulfield now locked up for a long term. You've got Yuri Slavkovsky, Philip Mesa, Owen Beck. You've got these potential star players, and then you've got Anaheim who are just there.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Maybe it's not exactly what you want to see. I mean,
Who are the other
Zegers is
rebuilding teams? The Sharks as well, also like a few miles down the road from Anaheim. They've got William Eklund, who is predicted to be like really good. They've got a couple of good defense prospects. Their forward prospects are pretty decent.
I
Uh,
don't know, man. It just sounds like Eklund and nobody else.
Eklund is really good. He is like I'm high on that guy.
I've heard, yeah, no, as I've heard you say many times.
Who else have I got? I've got
He's thinking hard.
Thomas
He's
Bordelot.
thinking hard.
He's not bad.
Don't forget Eric Carson.
They have Shakir Mukhamadullin.
Oh, that's true. Recent pickup.
Um,
Timo, man. Yeah.
like they have some decent signings. Abroad. And yeah,
Yeah.
they're like Fabian Zetterlund is a young player who's got a lot of upside. I was going to say Alex Barabanov, but he is 29.
Wait, well, Lewis, let me tell you this. Okay,
Okay,
the Ducks have 40 million in cap space.
they do,
I'm just saying.
but they have
When
to
you sign,
re-sign Terry, Zegras, Drysdale, uh, Dostal. Like,
hey, you're still gonna have quite a little bit left over. I'm just saying.
but I'm looking
You
at
know,
their system.
uh,
They've got a couple of decent defense prospects.
and
Pavel
look,
Minkshunov.
Silverberg and Henrique are up at the end of this season. This next season, you can probably flip them at the deadline if it's not looking good.
Dude, Henrique's their
I'm just
highest
saying.
paid player. Second highest paid player.
Yeah, but you can retain like half and flip him at the deadline.
And I wonder if they try and bring back Perry.
Like, oh, you know what? Now that he's gone around town a bit, I think it wouldn't be the worst option. It'd be good to see him retire as a Duck as well.
And because they've got loads of cap space, you could sign him to a bit of a bigger contract. Like the Ducks are not going to be contending this year. You can sign him to a
No,
bit of a
no.
bigger contract, and
You give him a little 2-year deal.
no 1 year 1 year 3 million. It gets them enough to get to the cap floor. You can
Yeah.
bring back Corey Perry. He's incentivized to re-sign or like to sign there because of the more money. They get it because it's Corey Perry. They get to sell more tickets, and they get to reach cap floor. That'd be a great deal for them. Whether it happens or not is a completely different problem.
No, I agree. I think it'd be good. I'm just saying, man. Maybe we check the Ducks kitchen next year, and then we can
Let's
talk.
revisit this conversation in a year's time and see what they're doing. And when they're
We,
still terrible, we can go, I was right.
we're gonna forget all about this conversation.
I will not.
I don't believe you. Put a reminder in your phone. A year today.
Okay. Shall we do the funny little thing we were thinking
Yeah,
of?
we've got about
Yeah.
12 minutes. Yeah, 12 minutes left.
All
Might as
right.
well.
So, would you like to explain to our audience what we
Okay.
have decided to do?
So we've made a lovely little wheel of hot takes.
Should we call it
Right?
the hot takes wheel?
The hot takes wheel. It's gonna spin. It's gonna spin a bit more. and then it's gonna land on a hot take, and then we're gonna have to defend that take and try to be as persuasive as possible.
So we have a list on the side here of all of the hot takes. I should probably hide that. If you're watching this
Yeah.
podcast, then you would have seen it, but not the entire list. You can sort of see them on there, but you can't see the entire thing. Rozh cannot see the wheel of the hot take wheel, so
I can see the list though.
you can. Okay, I will. Let's spin the wheel.
Spinning, spinning, spinning. Tell me when it stops.
It has
Spinning.
stopped. Oh, okay. Do you want to take this one or should I take this one?
Well,
It moved.
oh, it did.
Okay,
Can you read
so
it out to me?
the hot take is Austin Matthews is not as good as Mitch Marner.
That isn't. That's not even. I should probably say this. Some of these aren't even hot. They're just bad takes.
Some of them are just straight up lies.
Um, here, do you want to spin the second one and then we can decide, or do you want to?
Nah,
Okay.
you just go.
No.
You try and argue to me that Matthews is not as good as Mitch Marner.
Okay.
Hang on, let me set a timer up. You got let's
How
set
long do you want to
let's
give?
set argument time for 2.5 minutes.
Hang on. Oh, can I let you know when I'm ready?
Yeah.
All right. Give me a second. I'm gonna get demolished. Someone's gonna record this, right, out of context, and that is it for me.
This is the hot takes wheel. Take number one.
Okay.
Austin Matthews is not as good as Mitch Marner. You have
Okay.
2.5 minutes on the clock. 3, 2,
Okay.
1, go.
Okay. For what Austin Matthews is supposed to be, okay, he hasn't met those expectations in the playoffs, in the regular season. Okay,
In the regular
he's not
season,
good.
that guy was predicted to be a first overall
He fell
pick, and
off.
he
He
scored
fell off. He
60
fell off.
goals last season, and he was injured
And
this
then he
season,
fell off.
still called
He fell off.
40.
He fell off. Fell off. It's a hard fall off. Okay,
He's a pretty
20
big
less
fall.
goals. 20 less goals than
But
the
as
same
an
amount
injured
of players.
player.
No, but as good as he is, right? He cannot get it done. Okay.
Okay.
Mitch, you know, he's been consistent. 97 points, 99 points. The previous 2 years, 67 back to back. Okay. In let me tell you, an injury riddled season. Okay. This guy's always been consistent. He's always been consistent. Can you say that about Matthews? No. Okay. Sometimes he disappears. Sometimes he comes back. He's a little streaky. Again, he had a really bad down year this year. Marner's always been healthy, at least in recent times. Matthews, that shoulder, that shoulder. For what it's worth, Matthews can throw around the body, and he chooses not to. Okay.
He has the best shot in the league. He scored over 100 points. He
Really, Pasternak is better. Pasternak is better.
he signed to a reasonable deal considering his skill level.
Well, here's the thing. If Pappy wants to be a leader on his team, he should have taken a team-friendly deal.
That's true. When he has the option to next season.
He had the option to 5 years ago.
But you can't tell me that a playmaker is as good as a goal scorer. Better than a
Look,
goal scorer.
Here's the thing. Goal scorers can get streaky. Playmakers don't see it as often. And I think Pappy was hella streaky this year. Mitchie, always consistent. Okay?
They're consistent of being terrible.
Consistent. Would you call 99 points terrible?
I'd call it not as good as Matthews.
Matthews only had 85.
He was injured.
He only played 6 less games.
He was injured.
6 less games.
Yes, but he was playing with an injury. Marner was not.
Then just don't play. Just don't play.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't have done.
Well, that's why he's the worst player.
Okay, time is up. Interesting. I don't think that's one of the better hot takes on the wheel.
Yeah, you made me defend a straight up lie.
Okay, and we're spinning the wheel. Let's do 2 more.
Okay, keep her spinning, bud. Keep her going.
We've landed in almost the exact same place.
Oh, wait, what's your take here, bud?
Okay, Ovechkin is overpaid.
How much does you make?
Okay, I will put 2.5 minutes on the clock. You ready?
Okay, you're defending this one, no?
I'm defending this one.
Alright,
Ovechkin is overpaid.
okay.
3,
Go.
2, 1, Go. Alex Ovechkin makes $9.5 million for a guy that doesn't do any playmaking. He only scores goals from 1 point on the ice. He's a one-dimensional player who
Hey, hey,
is
hey! No one
unable
can
to do it
stop
in
him
the
though. No
playoffs
one. Then why can no one stop him? Okay,
because
if
his
everyone that.
because it's so unconventional that people just don't really think about it. If people thought
What do
about
you
it
mean?
more, he'd
He's
just
literally
be
scored. It's just a slap shot from the left face-off
yeah. And
dot,
if people
right?
just stood in front of him, then he'd be rendered completely irrelevant. That
Yeah,
guy.
and people do, and it still goes in. He's been doing it his whole career. Okay, he's pretty likely to beat Gretzky's goal record from that face-off
Yeah,
dot.
but that's not guaranteed. Everyone's calling him a better goal scorer than Gretzky. He's going to pass Gretzky's record, blah blah blah. And until he does it, he's just an unproven individual who only
Would you
won one cup.
are you calling 822 goals unproven?
I think that for the fact that he's a very one-dimensional player, right? And for
It doesn't
that
matter if you're
cap
one
it,
dimensional. Goals are the most important bit of the game. Okay, you don't win games without goals,
he
and
only
he's got
scored 42 goals last season. For a guy who was consistently scoring over 50 goals, it's a down year.
a down year.
He is
Look,
defensively unreliable. He takes way too many penalties.
or you could say the
He
same about
cannot
Draisaitl and McDavid.
cannot even carry a team to the playoffs.
What do
That
you mean? He's
guy is
literally
overpaid. He needs to
he's
take
not
take
overpaid.
off a few $1 million off that cap hit.
Oh, you're crazy. Okay, this guy's gonna. This guy's likely to be Gretzky. He scored 50 goals like 9 times
Yeah,
in
but
his
he
career.
hasn't done it yet. He's getting up
He
there,
was
man.
eight
He's
goals.
almost 40. We
He's
talk
gonna.
about being
Yeah,
like over 30 as
and,
the twilight years of the career. Bro is in darkness.
yeah, and he's still getting 42 goals a season at least. Like, wait, that's a good year. That's a good
For
player
$9.5
at that
million,
age.
would you rather
Yeah,
not
for that age,
take him at
42
a
goals.
lower deal, team friendly deal?
That is a team-friendly deal.
It's not a team friendly deal. That guy should be getting paid like $5 million.
Five. You're gonna pay a 50 goal
Carter
scorer
Hagee scored the same amount of
$5 million.
goals as he did this season, gets paid 4.5.
Carter the Hagee hasn't done that for like 15 years.
But he did it.
Once.
Time's up. For the record, I think that's completely untrue. Alex Ovechkin definitely
He's lying.
deserves.
He's lying. He's lying.
This is the hot takes wheel. It's just the lying wheel. I don't know why I call it the hot takes wheel.
No,
It's
this
the
is
lying
just. This
wheel.
is just.
It's the lying wheel.
This is just the wheel of Lewis's. With what Lewis was too afraid to actually say.
Wow, this is just the wheel of lies. Should we do one more?
Yeah, let's do one more.
And we're spinning the wheel.
It's spinning. It's spinning. It's spinning.
Okay.
Go on. You tell me.
I want you to try and argue this one.
Is it the podcast one or which one is it?
The Winnipeg Jets do not have a culture problem.
Okay.
You've got 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, go.
Listen, at the end of the day, hockey's a business, right?
Yeah.
You gotta look out for yourself here, right? Humans are inherently selfish. We're all looking out for ourselves, and you can't blame Blake Wheeler. You can't blame Shifley if they want to make sure they're getting the most bang for their buck. Okay, they're forwards. They're meant to attack. Defense. It's not their job.
Yeah, but they're
Okay.
supposed to attack, like, the forecheck, not attack their own players, their own team.
Look, if their own team, isn't up to their standards, I think it's fair for Shifley and Wheeler
But Blake Wheeler is
raise the
such a
issue.
toxic leader within the room that he got stripped of the captaincy. Would that not be
Here's the thing.
indicative of
No,
a culture problem?
here's the thing. He may be toxic, but he's also a leader. Okay.
And not a good one.
No, listen. He was stripped of the captaincy because the GM. Okay. Jealous.
Be sure that's a culture problem that then goes all the way to the top.
Listen, Blake Wheeler. He's been leading this Jets team for years. He led them. He arguably should have led them to a cup final, maybe a cup win. Okay. It's not his fault that it's the same players. Hallebuck failing again. Okay, can you really blame him for getting angry? Can you? I don't think so.
But
I don't think
if the
Blake Wheeler.
reason for Hellebuck's inconsistency is Blake Wheeler's lack of leadership qualities and the room's
No, listen,
just
Hallebuck's
general
is the
terribleness.
other way around. It's the other way. You've got it mistaken, Lewis. Okay, it's all the other players on the team. Wheeler, Shifley, they're carrying this team on their backs. Okay, if McDavid, Nuge, Draisaitl, they got a little angry at like Matthias Janmark, could you really blame them? Can you really blame? Can you blame Wheeler for being mad at Ehlers or Kyle Connor or Hallebuck? I don't think so.
Your time's up. This is such a good idea. I'm so glad
Am
I
I
came
wrong?
up with this.
Am I wrong, Lewis?
You can stop with the act now, Rozh.
This isn't an actor. This is how it really should go. I'm gonna get that Blake Wheeler jersey with 2 C's.
With 2 C's? Where are you gonna put them?
On both sides. right next to the ad patch.
That's amazing. Oh, right. I think with that we'll end the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening
hope
to
you
the
en-
Lewis and Rozh Hockey
I
Podcast.
hope you enjoyed our new segment.
That was great. Oh my god.
I didn't think it was that funny.
Thank you for listening to the Lewis and Rozh Hockey Podcast. I'm Lewis,
And I'm Rozh.
and we'll see you in the next episode.